Hey, welcome to Coffee with Connie. I'm Connie Fuchsa with Foot Title Group, where we protect your home ownership. So this week we've been talking about a really hot topic in the home buying, closing, mortgage, real estate world. It is cybersecurity. And you may think, well, gosh, how does this affect my home buying process? And just recently we talked about, I was doing a follow-up. Two of our team members did a presentation, a live presentation on encrypted emails, cybersecurity, having your email hacked, all of those types of things, and how it affects the home buying process. And I've been following up on that since, because there's a lot of things that I feel like that I would love to educate you about, and there's things that we need to know in this process, but this is so very serious right now. So I wanted to, I talked about it a little bit on Thursday, and I wanted to talk about it a little bit more today because it's so easy for it to happen and so easy for you to make sure it doesn't happen. And the thing that's the scariest is once it happens, you may not have the money you need for closing. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about how it can happen and what's going on and why it's so scary, because it looks so real. So what we're really talking about is hacking of your email. And because, and that sounds like, oh gosh, I've heard this story 1,000 times. But the problem is the hackers have gotten really smart, and they know that the home buying process is where a lot of money changes hands. And they also know that a lot of the conversations are going through email. And so I talked about this a little bit on Thursday, but I really feel like I want to hit it again because, we're seeing a lot of things just within our team and things that are going on that are outside of our control, but throughout the circle. So I want to really share with you how very important this is for you to be hypersensitive. So first of all, let's talk about this. So a lot of money changes hands when going through this home buying process. So you're borrowing money from a lender, and that lender is sending that money to the company that's doing your closing to be able to make sure you have the funds to pay the seller to buy the house that you're buying. So you're borrowing that money, the money goes to the title company, and then that title company processes that money and pays the seller, or pays the seller's loans off, pays for that purchase that you're doing. And you also are bringing some money to the closing table, and typically that's a wire, and that money is coming to the title company, and then the title company is paying out bills, paying the seller for those things. So a lot of times you're being asked to wire funds to that title company in most cases, because most cases title companies will only accept a wire. But here's the trick. Most title companies use encrypted email, and they're going to send you wiring instructions. It is the instructions that your bank needs to tell them exactly where to send the money. It's sort of like an address and a detailed description of where that account is, that the money needs to go from your account into that title company's account. So it's really detailed description, and we want to make sure that that money gets properly from your account and goes directly to the company that you're paying, that you're responsible for paying. Now, here's where the trick comes in. Most title companies have encrypted emails. So when they send you information, it's encrypted, and so no one else can get in. The hackers can't do it. And here's what happens is you say, oh gosh, how did the hackers find me? How does it happen? So let's talk about the encryption first, and then I'll talk about a little bit on the backside. And first, I'm going to qualify by saying I am not a computer techie person. Matter of fact, I'm probably one of the least computer savvy title people you'll meet. But what I will tell you is I've been working with a team for over 30 years, and I trust them implicitly, and they explain to me how these things happen so I can talk to you about it. So let's go through the process for a second. So you're going to be buying a house. You are getting a mortgage with a mortgage company. That money that you're borrowing from the mortgage company, once it's approved, that mortgage company is sending money to the title company, and the title company is dispersing that money to whoever it belongs to pay for your services. Now, there is instructions that I talked about that the title company is giving you, and more than likely they're sending them encrypted. Where the breakdown seems to happen is that the mortgage company sends the closing documents encrypted, but there's a lot of other emails that are going on throughout the process between the buyer, the seller, the realtor, and the title company. And if the realtor doesn't have encrypted email, or the lender doesn't use the encrypted email they have for everything, all the information they're sending, The hackers are watching, and here's how they watch. This is what I'm being told. So we're sending emails all the time, and you may get an email that's a little bit unusual. You may not even notice it's unusual. Maybe it has one word misspelled, and you say, oh gosh, people misspell words in emails all the time. Or maybe it has a punctuation piece that's off, and it looks like it's coming from your realtor, your lender, or your title company, or somebody else in the process, maybe your realtor's assistant, and it's really not coming from them. So you click on something, and now the hacker hasn't stolen anything at that point. What they're doing is watching, because what they do is they know now that in this process, your communication with others is very important. So they're watching, and what happens is, as soon as some of these trigger words come across, wire, funds for closing, closing dollars, you're going to closing, when you're going to closing, who the mortgage company is, they start watching that, and they're watching everybody in this email circle. And then what happens is they all of a sudden will get in the middle of that, and you as the buyer, they're sending emails to you that look like they're coming from your realtor or your lender or the title company, and it's not. And just recently, we heard of another case where there was a realtor and a lender and supposedly the title company involved in it, and it said, here's the information on the wiring instructions on where to send it. And then it said, we are going to have, the title company, we're going to have the buyer call you to confirm the information. And it said all this in the email. Well, what happened is the hackers called to confirm the information, and the information was confirmed. And so then in that email, the buyer was told where to send the money. It wasn't to the title company. The title company never had a conversation with anyone. The whole thing never happened. The realtor's email was involved. The lender's email was involved. The buyer's email was involved. It looked like the title company's email was involved, and they weren't. So everybody thought the title company was involved, and they weren't. So the buyer sent $15,500 some dollars to who they thought was the title company for the closing, and it wasn't. Now the buyer sent all of the money they have in their savings for their down payment on their house, and it's gone. And I'm pausing for real for you to get a real understanding of what the gravity of this is. They're getting ready to buy their house at the end of this week. It's Wednesday. They're closing on Friday. They've wired their funds because they thought the email they got was where it needed to go. And it wasn't. That money is now in China, Africa, all of these different places, Hong Kong, all of these different places that the federal government financial services regulations are seeing. The money is gone. And the minute that they send that wire, there's a period of time, and every bank is a little bit different, but there's a period of time that you can discover it and potentially get some of it back. In this particular case that I understand about, this buyer had to borrow money from someone else because now they have no money for closing. But what if they have no one to borrow from? Again, I'm pausing because this is how serious this is. So I'm sharing this with you guys because this is what I want you to understand. This is a real thing. You're absolutely right, Brenda. This is real. It's happening every single minute. It's not happening every day. It's happening time and time again every single day. It's happening over and over and over. You're a realtor, you're a lender, you're a title company. I want you to call your buyers, have a conversation directly with them, mail them wiring instructions, get that buyer's mailing address, get that buyer to come to the office, give them the physical information. You know, email is fantastic. But this is exactly the downside of email. And email's great for all the things we need to do, but you can't rely on it for your financial transactions. You would not get on a open wireless system at Panera, at Walmart to do your banking information because everybody's warned you about that. Why would you send by email information that someone needs in order to send their life savings to somewhere for the biggest purchase of their life? So I'm saying this, and I'm doing it a little bit heavy because the gravity of this is real. It's happening every minute of every day. People are losing their life savings. And for someone, their life savings may be $5,000 and they can't buy their new house. That's a disgrace. So I'm saying to you realtors, to you lenders, to you title companies, to you buyers, to you sellers, because you sometimes have to bring money to the closing. pick up the phone and call someone and make sure you have some verified information who you're talking to get the proper information on where to send your money. You wouldn't just give some stranger in Africa your money intentionally. So let's use our big eyes and really pay attention to what you're doing, and don't do anything when it comes to your money with email. And if you're a lender or you're a realtor and you're not using encrypted email, you got to get on the board with this. That's the only way to make sure that the information you are sending, even if it's not wiring instructions, maybe you're sending some personal information, maybe you're just saying some things that you really need to do. Our office has a policy. We encrypt every single email. So if you get an email and you can't open it from us, I'm sorry. We'll work with you on it. We'll give you a call and we'll talk you through some stuff. But we are not sending emails that are not encrypted. Every single one of my team members, I hound this in, because that's how they start watching us, is watching unencrypted emails. And then they are able to intercede in the circle of conversation. So even if you're sending only certain things encrypted, what they do is they're paying attention to all those things you're not sending encrypted. And then what happens is, then when you do send something encrypted, that's fine. Now the buyer or the seller or the realtor or lender realizes that, oh crap, I'm in another email circle over here, and I thought it was the title company, and it's not. So our policy is to send everything we send encrypted. And the reason for that is that way we don't get caught when there's an email chain going on and somebody thinks that we're emailing in that chain, and we're not. It's fraud. So don't rely on email to do anything with respect to your finances. You wouldn't do it for any other thing. Don't do it with respect to the money you need for closing. Hopefully I gave you guys a little good information. Usually I'm super happy about stuff on these things. This is scary, people. This is the one thing that's been coming down the road that's been scaring me for a long time. I've been doing title for over 30 years, and I love helping people get into that new home and make sure their home ownership is protected. But this is a thing that we are all fighting, and it's really hard to fight and to protect yourself against. And the only way to do it is to make sure that you're having physical conversations with people, and make sure that you're not talking about important financial transactions on email. So hope you guys have a great day. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Brenda, thanks for reaching out. Good to see you. Hey, Todd, how are you? Thank you so much for watching. If you guys would share, if you find this valuable, please hit that share button, because this is something that we all need to know right this second, because our money is going out of our country and people are not being able to buy their houses. So hopefully I helped you with some good information. If you have other conversations or things you want to talk about, reach out to me. You don't have to do it in the live stream. You can personal message me. You can email me. You can reach any of our team members through our website, www.foottitlegroup.com. And we have lots of good resources on there to help you answer a lot of questions. And we're working on a really good piece about this cybersecurity. So, hey, Sherry, thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate it. And I really appreciate you guys' time. And if I can help you answer any of these other questions, let me know. I love working with you guys and want to help. So hope you guys have a fantastic day. I'm Connie Fuchsa with Foot Title Group, where we protect your home ownership. Thanks so much for tuning in to Coffee with Connie, and I'll talk to you again real soon. Bye-bye.